You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio, man. We are here once again, and man, today we have an awesome show lined up for y'all today. Man, we're going to talk to David Pasqualone. He is an amazing person doing amazing things. He teaches people how to be transparent, steadfast, confident, and durable despite circumstances or quote unquote the odds. Man, we're going to be talking about his podcast too, because he also has an amazing podcast that we're going to learn all about. And man, first and foremost, I want to welcome David to the show and say, hey man, how you doing?
Hey Shamaya, it's great to be here.
Man, it's great to have you on, man. And like I just said moments ago, you have a podcast. The title of that podcast is Remarkable People Podcast. And first and foremost, man, when it comes to being your own boss, man, growing your own business, doing marketing, all that great stuff, tell the audience a little bit what inspired you to do what you do today, man.
I love helping people. I always have. That's been my heart. And, like the Bible talks about, love God, love others. That's just been a little bit easier for me in life because it's just how he built me. But for years and years and years, I was working for companies, specifically companies going solvent or bankrupt. And I was going in, turning them around, making them profitable in 12 to 24 months, and then leaving for the next gig. And I just had an epiphany one day. It was really just a realization like, wow, I'm doing a ton of work when I could do less work and make more money and still help people by starting my own business. And then I can give ideas like I am now. I can see them through, make sure they're actualizing and realizing their goals. However, if there's someone that's not fully invested in making the company grow, I can say, hey, man, I love you. I wish you the best, but it's time to go. So, time for me to go. So that's what I've been doing since 2012. I still help people grow. I still help companies grow. I just do it under my own brand, and I work with just a very small group of individuals, small and medium businesses, and we make sure we hit their goals and then move on to the next project. But that way, we make sure that it's more pure. I won't work with people who are just looking to make money because, what good does that do? But when they're vested in their team, their people, and they're vested in actually bringing value to the world, I'm all in.
And speaking of being all in, I mean, that's a great concept where you are focused on the value and how you can grow that value. When you're working with a client, and maybe they are the person, like they're all about the value system. They want to make sure they help their customers. They want to make sure they leave an impact for their community, but maybe they're just not that great at sales, right? They're the nice person that will do it for free, but they don't, get compensated. How do you work with people like that who they're really focused on leaving the impact, but they kind of struggle on the sales side?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's so many people who are experts at what they do, but they can't sell it. And we live in a society that's very superficial. Some of the most popular products are mediocre at best out there, but they have great marketing. So I always tell my clients, you can be the best doctor, you can be the best widget maker, you can have the best product or service, but if you can't market it today, you're going to struggle. So what I do is I always start off with the vision. The Bible says where there's no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he, right? So what I say is, okay, what's your plan for this organization? Are you looking to sell it in 5 years? Are you looking to leave it to your kids and a legacy? Is it, a corporate structure where there's a board of directors and there's an entire team behind it? So what I do is I look at what their goal is, and then we look at where they're realistically at, and we reverse engineer the plan to get them to their goals. And then we just step by step work on it and achieve it. And we make adjustments along the way, but we make sure that we keep moving forward.
And you sound like you really are passionate about finding the keys to help people unlock the doors that they're trying to get open so that they can go to the next level. But for you personally, man, what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome for you to be in position to help others?
Well, having a history of success is huge because there's a lot of famous people who've never really done anything in their life. and, it's a flash in the pan. They charge a bunch of money, they give their consulting, and then nothing happens. And a lot of times people actually pay you for consulting and they don't do anything with it. They truly will pay you obscene amounts of money and then they sit on it. They don't do anything. So that's why I'm very selective of the clients I work with. And like you brought up, sales, marketing is a huge piece of any organization today. So I always start at, if somebody's selling a product or service, what's the public see? So what is the public looking at and how are they interpreting that? And then we break it down to make sure we make a sales funnel. All the social media, all the marketing, all the advertising, it flows through their process. For most, it'll be through the website. For some, it's make that phone call. So whatever the call to action is, we make sure everything's connected. And with me, I've been blessed where I got an opportunity in college to work full-time. Well, I went to school full-time, had a side business, and I was able to be successful. So then that success got me to the next career, and then the next career got me to the next opportunity, and it just kept building. So really, it doesn't matter if you're emptying trash cans right now. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO of the organization. What you do today is a reflection of tomorrow. So you need to make sure that you're killing it today. You have your priorities right, your focus right, like your podcast, I Am Focused, right? We want to make sure that we have the right focus, the right vision, and the steps we're taking today is what's going to make that real tomorrow.
Once again, talking to our guest today, David Pasqualone, and you hit it right on the head. Focus is key. Where you focus on, the body's going to follow your thoughts and your eyes. So whatever you're spending most of your time with is either going to make you or break you. Now, someone who's listening to this right now, and they're like, man, I'm not like David, though. Like, he's killing it. He's doing this, and then he's moving on to this thing. He's just leveling up throughout the time. Me, it's like I'm having trouble with this one main thing. I know you say you're specific, careful with who you work with, but someone who's just getting started to level up, if you will, right? They're at level 1 and they're trying to graduate and get to that level where they are making better decisions that will grow their business and grow their brand. What's some of the core ingredients based on people that you've been able to work with that actually helps them click and start moving? Because happy thoughts don't get anywhere. It's all about what you're actually doing day in, day out.
Yeah. Commit your works unto the Lord and thy thoughts shall be established. So basically, if you're not sure of what you want to do or where you're going, just start doing and then let God adjust you on your way. But to answer your question, I think 2 things. I mean, I've had the privilege to work with high-end executives, and I've worked with people you've never heard of and probably will never heard of. And scheduling and planning, those are 2 massive things that most people lack in their life, and they don't realize the power of it. So your first thing you need to do is, like I said, have that vision and what are you trying to accomplish? And then you set the plan around that. You reverse engineer it. And then you just keep working those steps and make adjustments on the way. Then the other thing is scheduling. We can make more money. We can make more friends. We can get more stuff, but we can't get time back. So that's why I'm so thankful to be here. We're taking this time right now to hopefully help your audience and your listeners for something to click and be a catalyst in their life to grow. So if someone is listening and they're a 1-person operation, or if they're running a company of 10,000 or bigger or smaller, it really comes down to that vision. And you need to make sure that you understand the vision and you're communicating it to your people. And then that's why you need to plan. You need to say, okay, this is our vision. These are the steps we're going to take to get there. Hey, if you have better ideas, let me know, but we're going to keep moving forward with this plan. And then I don't want to be unclear. I'm like every other human. If you're not failing, you're not doing something right. You always have to be learning and growing and trying meaning experimenting with new things and looking at new areas that are coming out in the market that weren't there 5 years ago. And then you need to make sure that you're not going all in one area, because then if that doesn't work, everything falls apart. So you're always trying to juggle 5 to 12 different marketing practices And for everybody, it's so different because every scenario is different, but there's always core foundations of success. So having that vision, having that plan, and then scheduling your time. I function best with a very rigid schedule. People would be like, oh, I can't do that. But I break my schedule down to 15-minute increments when I'm really busy. I don't do it all the time, but if I'm really busy, I break my schedule down to 15-minute increments, but I also block in my personal time and I make sure I enjoy that as well. That way I'm not getting burned out and I always have that time to look forward to and I can just breathe. Like for me, I take off Friday night at 6 p.m. through Sunday evening and I just do my own thing, family, friends, enjoy it. I know that's always there for me and it's a protected space. And then Sunday night, I get back to work and work through Friday at 6. And then in between, I have my daily schedule. So one of the things that's lacking most in our society, and not just in America, globally, is self-discipline. And self-discipline is something that we're a microwave generation. We want everything now. We want everything to gratify us. And it really starts with self-discipline, scheduling, and making sure you have a plan that you're working. You're not just throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what happens.
Yeah, like you said that because I feel like I'm in agreement. We are in today's time where you see something on a social feed. Some people think, oh, well, if I make a post like this, I'll be rich too, or I'll be successful too if I do what they do. But they don't see what that person has done over the years that's allowed them to make those kind of posts on social media, to drop wisdom and all that stuff. But people can't just assume that if they read it for once in their life, all of a sudden tomorrow they're going to be making sales. It's like you said, it's a step-by-step process. And for those who are trying to make better connections with the customers, right? Based on what you have learned throughout the years, what's some of the best practices when you are trying to brand in a better way for your customers to completely understand your core mission?
Listen. You listen to what the customers are asking for. You listen to what their needs are. If your product or service doesn't truly match, don't sell them. It's not a no, it's not today. Then you can also use that for great R&D. People spend millions of dollars for research and development in a lab and they don't talk to real people. If you're listening, I was with one organization and they were going bankrupt after 10 years and not being profitable. They just had heavy investors. And we listened to what the market wanted and what the market needed. We made small tweaks and they were profitable in 12 months. They were actually profitable almost immediately, but we were really profitable in 12 months and they were bought by a global organization. So you really need to listen to what your clients are asking for. And a lot of times, like I said, there's people who are amazing at what they do and they have a great product or service and they take so much for granted. And you have some Yahoo who's so much less talented, has a lesser product or service, but they're hitting those high points in the marketing. So they're getting the sale that you should have had, not could have had, you should have had.
You listen to I'm Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, David Pasqualone. You can go to his website, davidpasqualone.com. And man, let's dive into your business, man, because you are helping people not just help get their schedule on point, but also train them for life, for things to grow in sales and marketing. You have a lot of systems for people. What's some of the tools that you can go over with our audience that they can utilize when they go visit your website?
Well, I'm big on knowledge. You have the old G.I. Joe, knowledge is power. And knowledge is great, but knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Wisdom is knowing the knowledge, but also knowing how to apply it properly. And that's still, you can be wise and still an idiot. You know what I mean? You can be wise and know what to do and not do it, but you want to make sure that you have the information and then you apply it. So like our podcast is the Remarkable People podcast. You can go to my website, davidpasqualone.com. And there's like right now 110 episodes out there. I don't know, depending on when you listen to this, we have a weekly show, been doing it for 3 years and over 100 countries, the top 2% of podcasts, all genres, all countries in the world. And we're growing. And I know I'm a marketing guy, but we did it organically. We didn't do it by buying listens or by going out there and having huge marketing campaigns. We did it just by helping people. So when you go to our website, you can listen to the Remarkable People podcast for free. Pick the topic you're looking for, and it's more personal. You're going to hear the stories of our guests, their life story from birth through today. And you're going to hear not just what they faced and had to overcome or achieve, but they break it down in practical steps of how they did it so you can too. So that's the best thing on our website. That's completely free, 24 hours a day. There's messages there from me. There's writing for me. There's a 1 hour. I think it's called the most important hour we can spend together. And I mean that. It's not just about this world, it's about eternity to come. So pretty much everything I do, I try to make it free unless we're specifically growing your business or doing coaching or such as that. Did I answer your question? I want to make sure I'm answering.
Yeah, you definitely answered my question, because that is, I believe podcast is going to be like a new website in the next few years, because not only are people finding value, there's a lot of study, a lot of research that are showing that people who are very, very hungry to be educated and want to learn something new and want to find a way, and kind of like we said, laying out a blueprint of an individual's life and the choices that they made throughout time to be to where they are today. That's what the key is making a choice. You either choose to do something or you choose to stay the same or to not care. So it's just one of those things you have to really make up your mind. Okay, what do I really want to do? And I have so many great people like you on the show who paint that picture for us. And I always say this little thing. I'm going to say it real quick. I'm going to throw it to you. Ask what you think. Our life is like a blank canvas. And, our talent, our gift, that's the paint. But our action, that's the paintbrush. And that's how we leave our mark on history. But we have to do something. We can't just think about, man, okay, Kobe Bryant's making all these amazing shots and, dunks and rest in peace. I want to be like Kobe one day. Or I want to shoot like Steph Curry. Well, it's one thing to want to do something versus you're the one that's in the gym doing the hard work. You're the one that's losing some sleep, but you're doing it for a good cause, and you know how to space it out to where you can rest but still get back to work.
I couldn't agree more. Our slogan for our show is listen, do, repeat those actions each day so you can have a great life in this world and eternity to come. So, man, I'm tracking right with you. And if you're listening to this, again, listen to great knowledge. Like Shemaiah has given you knowledge week after week on his podcast. Take it, do it, repeat the good stuff each day so you can have a great life in this world and, again, an eternity to come. Life's short, man. On average, we're here 75 years. After that, it's forever. Where are you going to be? That's the big question. Money's easy to make. People think it's hard, but it's not. Money does grow on trees. It's literally paper. It grows on trees. It's just currency. It's not hard to make money. What's difficult is the personal, mental struggle, the demons, the things we face. So almost everyone I know that truly is successful and has a full, rich life, they have that inner peace. They don't have just financial wealth.
And that's the key, man. That's the key to this whole episode is the fact that, yes, it's important to grow your business. Yes, it's important to learn about sales and marketing. That's why they can go visit your website, davidpasqualone.com, because you have marketing consulting, you do websites and SEO, you do sales and marketing video guides, you do business consulting. It's so many things that you do that can help sharpen people's skill sets so that they can position themselves to put themselves where they want to be years from now. Now, as we wrap this up, you mentioned faith on the show, and I want to ask you, how has faith helped you when things get difficult with your business or just personal life?
Man, it's everything, because I know that I didn't have the best upbringing, right? A lot of us didn't. So I always knew God was there. He was there with me. And when I got in my teens, I was really sick and the doctors told me nothing was wrong. I ended up having a tumor the size of an orange in my head. They took it out, it grew back, took it out, it grew back, had radiation. Then you go through life and stuff happens, man. Ugly stuff happens. Things you can't control a lot of it we can, but we just can do our best and do what we can, be the best selves, right? Control ourselves, and then let God handle everything else. But whether it was what we perceive as a high or a low, God's there and he loves us. And anything that happens in life that we perceive as bad, that's not God causing it. That's like a huge lie from the devil. God doesn't cause or do bad things. The only time he allows it to happen is it's because it's to grow us, and it really will benefit us down the road, even though we can't see it. It will 100%. The story of Joseph in the Bible is one of the greatest illustrations of that. You have a guy who did nothing wrong. He's betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery. Every single time he starts getting things, up and going the right way, he's betrayed again or accused of something that's a lie. But then in the end, he ends up the number 2 man and saves a country, right? Saves his own family. So faith to me is everything. I mean, I've been not just when I was 18, but I was critically ill again in my 30s. I've been financially set. I've been financially broke. And it was there was nothing I could have done about it. It wasn't like I made bad investing choices. It was just life, right? Really crappy, bad stuff that some of us have experienced, most of us have experienced. But at the end of the day, God's there. And I know God's a loving God. He's not a vindictive God. And if he allows something to happen, I just got to keep moving forward, keep running that race. And no matter how many, somebody just quoted Rocky to me. I love Sylvester Stallone movies. I love Rocky. If I could ever just break bread with that man, I think I could learn so much. Right. But, there's a line in Rocky that talks about it's not just being able to hit hard, but how hard can you take a punch? And that's kind of like life. Sometimes you're going to get hit by somebody who's got no strength. Sometimes you're going to get hit very hard and land on your butt, but a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. So you just keep getting up. Now, don't keep making the same stupid mistakes, make the adjustments and get better, slip that punch, but keep moving forward, man. And if you die trying. Don't die quitting.
Man, I love everything you just said, because this morning, it's a saying. I gotta go to my phone notes on my iPhone. What's this quote? Because I was talking to Tamara from Sister back in the day, and she said something very, very awesome. And I'm gonna get it right now. Yeah, she said, "Life happens for you, not to you."
Yes,
and
that's
I love that.
Quote.
I love that because it's what everything you're talking about. If you look at, personal relationship with God, okay, he's helping you along the way. So that means when things are not going the way you would like them to go, instead of questioning, hey, why are you doing this to me? You should learn how to question, okay, how am I going to learn from this? Show me what I'm missing. Show me my blind spots. And in that way, I can gain wisdom and level up from this situation versus use this situation as an excuse for me to quit. Because I think at the end of the day, that's basically what happens. We either don't give up or we do quit. But the choice is us. It's up to us. We are going to keep pushing and keep trying ourselves. People like you, David, and others who have been there and been through the pain, and they can show us the blueprints, and then we grow and we live our best life today.
Amen. Yeah. And if you're watching someone who seems like just everything great happens to them, and you're like, why doesn't that happen to me? You got to let that go, because chances are, if someone has everything going for them and they have no seemingly issues in their life, my mom used to say, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. That person, every human has real struggle and real pain. If somebody has no pain and no struggle, they're either an absolute liar or they're so far away from God that Satan is not bothering attacking them. Because if you're living for God and doing good in the world and something that's worth life, you're going to be attacked by Satan. There is a real God and there is a real Satan, and Satan is nothing compared to God. But he's a punk that runs around this earth. He's a liar. He loves to cause confusion. He loves to cause strife and conflict and to divide the brotherhood, right? Brotherhood, sisterhood, and just the family of God. And it's real. So whether you're in business or in your personal life or just relationships. He's always going to try to sow discord and lies. That's his MO. That's what he's always done. That's what he always will do until God throws him in the lake of fire forever. But you just have to remember you're going through what you're going through for a reason. And it, talks about gold and silver in the Bible and refining it. Well, how do you refine gold and silver? You heat up the gold and silver to this ridiculous temperature. So what's called the dross comes to the top. It's the impurities. And then they scrape those impurities away, trash it, and now you have pure gold. That's our lives. We just need to keep, when the fire turns up, if you're like, I'm in pain, this guy's such a jerk, right? He's just saying this and he has a great life. Man, I'm not telling you my life's harder than yours, but I can tell you I went through some serious crap, and I don't ever want to go through it again. But looking back now, I'm like, man, I learned a lot and I'm thankful. I really am thankful these horrible events happened to me, because now I'm just stronger, and not because of Dave Pasqualone, but because of Jesus Christ. So just don't quit. It's about perspective. I mean, I remember the day when I was dying in my 30s, and the doctor's like, make out your will and, make sure your affairs are in order. And I dropped down to like 140 pounds, and I was in agony every day for 3 years, not pain, but agony. And it just dawned on me. I was downstairs at church. We were getting the kids out after church, out of like kids' church. And I saw this kid in a wheelchair, and he was probably about 15 years old, but he had the mentality of like a 5-year-old. And I thought, you know what? Who am I to complain? I've had great years. I've had some crappy times and I've had some good times. But even if I have one happy moment, that kid's happy and he's in a wheelchair, and he'll always be in a wheelchair. I'm sick, but I had the ability to live well for years. And that perspective changed everything for me. And then ironically, I started getting better. It's like it unleashed and unlocked all the negativity. And I just God started opening doors, showing me where to go with my health, started getting the help I needed, the surgeries I needed. And then next thing you know, I'm fat and happy again at 230, right? I need to drop about 30 pounds, but totally a different scenario from make out your will to, I got preferred elite on my life insurance policy. And my agent said they've been doing this for like 30 years and they've only seen that 3 times. So you never know what tomorrow will bring. And if you're thinking about, I don't know why I'm saying this, but if you're thinking about suicide, cut it out. That's a permanent decision for your temporary problems. That means there's something special in your life waiting for you, and Satan's the one trying to provoke you to do stupid things. Do not commit suicide. It will get better. You just keep moving forward in a direction, and then eventually you will be directed to exactly where you need to be, and you'll find joy and peace and happiness. But do not quit, do not give up, and do not commit suicide, because that is not the plan for your life.
When you listen to us talk, you're not listening to people who are, have no flaws, and we don't have mistakes, we don't have no setbacks. You listen to people who have drive. People on the show, they have drive, and they know that with that drive and with proper choices made, they can do anything they set their mind to. And when you listen to this, you can do it too. You just have to start. That's the secret. The secret is there is no secret. It's basically, it's up to you. You make a decision today, I'm going to be great. But you don't do it in 24 hours. You do it as a lifestyle over time for the rest of your life. It's either you're committed or you quit. That's my mindset. And with that said, I want to say thanks to our special guest, David Pasqualone. You can go to his website, davidpasqualone.com. Man, before we let you go, what's the best way people can stay connected with you, and anything else you want to share with our audience?
No, man, if I can help in any way, go to the website, hit the contact us. You can join the mailing list, and then check out the podcast. I'm not pimping the podcast because I'm making money off it. I've made no money off it. I completely pour every dollar back into it just so we can bring good content to people and just help. So if you need anything, go to my website. And like Shemaiah, like you said, success isn't overnight, but joy and peace can be. Once you actually accept your place and accept that you are striving for the purpose and the calling God has for you, you know, you're going to be so much happier. And the average overnight success takes 9 years, like statistically in business. You know, people say, oh, I'm an overnight success. Yeah, you have the freak anomaly that really is an overnight success. But most people, it takes hard work, a plan, and then that gumption to just stick to it each day, even when times are hard. I think his name's Steven Schuster. He's the guy that started the Rainforest Cafes. He's another guy I'd love to hang out with and get to know. He started T-Rex, Rainforest Cafes, a bunch of restaurants, like themed restaurants. He has a book called It's a Jungle in There. And I think it was a New York Times bestseller, but it wasn't like super popular and all over the world. Like, this is a remarkable book, but his story is hilarious. I mean, I read it to my children when they were small. They were cracking up. I'm cracking up. It's very enjoyable, but this guy pushed the line. And like, so when Shemaiah and I are talking about never quit, it's never quit when you have the right vision. This guy had the vision. He even questioned his sanity at points, as you'll see through the book, but he didn't quit. He kept going. And now he's like world famous, you know, multimillionaire, been there, done that kind of guy. When you read his book, though, are you willing to take those steps? Are you willing to put that kind of effort in? Are you willing to take that kind of rejection and that kind of sacrifice? You know, there's so many people who make these massive sacrifices. I have a neighbor who's an amazing human. We were talking, he's had a business that's 40 years old. It's number one in its field, but people see the success, but they don't see the months and years that he was not taking income or barely making it by. And so he could pay his employees, or when his credit cards are maxed out, he's like, oh man, I got 60 days before we have to close the doors. So see, that's just it. The people who usually break through to that next level, like Shemaiah was talking about, those are the people that stick through it. They committed to the plan. They stick to the plan. They make adjustments along the way, but they're like, I'm all in. And you got to be all in life. Because, you know, there's another verse that says, many are called, but few are chosen. And I always picture that like an interview. You know, you interview, you have a job, you're looking for a CEO, you're looking for a IT guy, lady. It doesn't matter what you're interviewing for, but you open up the job, you get all the candidates, and you pick the one that best fits. Well, if you have somebody who's like, I've done nothing with my life, or I've done some stuff, and they sit there and complain, or, you know, they were an achiever, but they have a wrong attitude, you're not going to pick them. I'd rather have 80 B performers than 1 or 2 stars with an ego, right? Yeah. So you have to make sure you're the man or woman you're supposed to be. You're the person that has a positive attitude. You're the person that is truly trying to help everyone get there together. You know, the rising tide floats all the boats. We're not on this mission alone. We don't achieve anything alone. We always have God, but then when you're on earth, hopefully you have a team. Jesus had the team of the 12 disciples, right? And even one of those betrayed him. So don't expect to please everybody. That's it's just not going to happen. Somebody along the way is going to screw you, but be prepared.
And that's real, man. And you listeners right now, make sure you go. This is your assignment right now. I'm going to test you real quick. If you're committed, I want you right now, go to davidpasqualone.com. Check out his podcast. Check out everything that he does, the services that he provides. And once again, the name of his podcast is Remarkable People Podcast. If this episode was inspirational to you, if you got something valuable out of this episode, man, please do us both a big favor and share it with someone who may need it, who needs that inspiration, that motivation. And please go leave a review on David's podcast, Remarkable People Podcast, because it helps us reach more people just like you who are hungry. So with that, man, I want to say thanks again, David, taking time in your schedule, talking to I'm Refocused Radio, man.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, Shemaiah. Seriously, thank you so much. And to our listeners, we love you. Wish you only the best. And if there's anything we can do to help, let us know.